Hello and welcome to another short spurt of acrylic painting, where today we are going to do chaos into order. And really the purpose of this exercise is to enjoy the abstract nature of painting, especially at the beginning. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've got an image of some small tomatoes I'm going to paint. I want to look at the image for a few minutes. Just take the information in and then don't look at the image for the first few minutes of the painting, or at least till I cover the canvas, to really utilize hopefully my memory, but also the marks I'm going to quickly lay down, just to give the painting a sense of spontaneity. So I've got the image and I can almost predict maybe some red there for the top tomato, some yellow, and the two darker purpley green ones, and there's a little yellow one hiding there. Okay, so we'll dive in. I'm going to start with a relatively large brush. So I'm going to just damp the brush, get the excess water out, and we're going to dive in with yellows straight away. So lemon yellow, medium yellow, deep yellow, tiny bit of orange, yellow ochre, and we just want to basically just lay down this yellow relatively quickly and not really worry too much about where things are going. I just want a rough idea anyway. Okay, the little one there. And there's a red tomato at the top somewhere there. So the good thing about this is I don't really have drawings. I don't really know where the things are exactly. So this prediction will hopefully create some interesting marks later on. Okay. The other thing is I've got the darker too, so I'll use the same brush, plenty of green, so I've got some sap green and some phthalo greens with some deep violet, bit of yellow ochre in there, bit of burnt sienna just to dull the colour down a bit, and kind of around there I think. Again, not really sure, so we're just trying to predict roughly where the things are. Okay, so we've got a background that's more of a terracotta colour, so we'll mix that colour up. And I want a bit of variety in it, so a bit of orange, and we can apply that like so. There's a bit of shadow on the side, so we're going to show that with a darker terracotta colour eventually. Let's pull this in. So, trying to do this fairly quickly. Just get these expressive marks in. It's actually a really good exercise to do first thing, just to warm yourself up before maybe you do a proper full-blown painting. So a little bit darker there. And I think there's some lighter bits in there, but I can put those in later. Let's put a bit of blue in there as well. Just there. Right, so just before I look at the image, I just want to elaborate maybe on a couple of bits around there. And just with the shapes around there. And over here. Okay, so very rough impression, I think, where the element should be. Could be completely wrong, but we'll see. Okay, so once I've covered everything, I want to start pulling the shapes out a little bit more. So I've mixed up a kind of darkish brown using some deep violet and some green and some burnt sienna. And essentially what I want to do is I want to find some of the shadows. So we can do that over here. So I don't want to paint over what I started with completely. So you want to hold the brush at a bit of an angle and then skim down. So you just skim the surface and it will give you a kind of crackly little mark there. Okay, and we'll just move along here. Again, a bit more sienna in there. So I don't want to do a complete circle because I want to leave maybe some of the interesting marks that just break out of the shape. We'll go for some dark there. And see what's going on in here. So some bits are a bit trickier than others. Probably be okay. So if you make any mistake, just let it settle down, and then you can always paint over certain bits that you're not too keen on. Okay, there. Okay, we'll make our way up here. Just pull this dark out. And just shape the tomato, which just needs to be moved over a little bit more. So I'll get a new brush. Okay, yeah, so this tomato just needs to be pushed over a little bit more. And just show a little bit of an edge there. A little bit more shape to this one. Just the stalk comes out a little bit. And there's one just in the corner here. And a bit of a dark tone over there. So the other thing I want to do is just like darken off the corners. Okay, we also want to add a strong light to the background, so I'll use this brush. Lots of white, lots of sienna, and some red. Mixing it in the pool of colour that I started with. Need quite a bit of this colour, so just making sure I've got a heavy mix of it. And so what we're going to do, this is going to help us shape the elements as well. Okay, so quite a bit of paint, because that weight will help to penetrate through the colours I've started with. There. I want to get the green in as well soon. And just drag that across. And on this side, quite strong light, so I'll leave some of this for the strong light I'm going to introduce. Okay, so hopefully it looks nice and rich. I can almost use some of this base colour as a bit of a tone for the stalk. There, and just pull this along over here. Okay, there. That over there. Okay, just going to re-establish some of the colour. So just going to a clean brush. So I've dammed these brushes, just going to use a tissue just to get the extra moisture out. So got a bit of red, some deep violet, just to elaborate this side. So because this is a pre-used canvas, there's a bit of texture coming through, so that's just creating some nice effects. Okay, back into the yellow. And we'll just elaborate on this one a little bit more. So if it starts running and going a bit muddy, you just need to pick up a bit more colour or let it dry is the alternative. Okay, again, probably just need to shape that, so back to that colour. Bit more yellow. Just using a bit more white with the yellows just to create more opaqueness to the colour. And we'll just skim around here. So the white just gives you an extra bit of punch to this side. And again, it's like fairly full strokes. Full strokes and just a little bit of texture. Just drag that along there. Just around there. Quite like that tone, but I think it's probably a bit too dark, so we'll just skim over like so. And we'll just lighten up this one. So pretty good working quick because it retains the energy and makes you more conclusive. The moment you start settling down and taking your time, you're going to consider too many things and start changing your mind. So just try to keep that momentum going. There. And just on that side, that one's fine. In fact, that could be a bit more orange. Just added more orange to the colour here. I'm just going to run some of that orange underneath. Don't mind the way these two merge in together. I want to keep some of that. Okay, quickly onto this side, a bit more red. So you will use a bit more paint with these kind of techniques, but you don't layer it so much, so you're saving a little bit in the long run. So if it's too strong, just skim it in a little bit more, and up here. Just got a bit of orange on this brush just to lighten this bit. Okay, we'll go into the green. So, again, another damp brush. Just get the excess water off. So if I mix up some green, some lighter green, I can also use it for the stalks. see how that looks. And in here as well. Okay, and over here. Okay, and again, just this kind of slight drag. And maybe a bit of curve to it. And do the same here, quite a bit of the green underneath. Like so. So I quite like the way the red runs in here. I want to keep some of that going. And going to put some purple in as well. A bit more blue in the stalk here. Just going to run that over that side. Okay, so I'll just use the same brush, see if I can dominate it with purple. Yeah, a bit more white in there. And just some cobalt blue. It's a little bit better. So you really want to just skim it in fairly quickly. Otherwise, you'll start to play with the paint, which you don't want to do. Okay, and we just maybe add a slightly stronger dark on this side, because I know I'm going to introduce a lighter bit. So I've still got paint on my palette that I can utilise to give me a little bit more variation. Okay, and there, there. Mind a slightly dark shadow there, so yeah, just around here. Just wanted to accentuate the lovely shapes from the stalks. Okay, so we'll go back to our terracotta colour, loads more white. So I'm going to kind of graduate a colour into a stronger white. So I just want some of this initially just to meld it in. Over there, up here. And then a drag down. And so we'll just skim some of this around here. And just around here as well. And here. Okay, actually while I've got this colour, just need to just accentuate. Okay, for the stronger line, I'm just going to grab a clean brush, because I really want the white to pop. So I need fairly strong light. I'm going to go back into my pool, but the white should be rich enough to come through. Tiny bit of blue in it, too much. Okay, and we'll maybe start over here. Yeah, so you don't want to be shy about putting some of these colours on. It's the good thing about practicing that creates confidence for you to be a little bit more confident with these. Okay, a little bit of light over here. And we'll use that dark for the stalk. And just move that along this side. Just push that blue out a little bit more. So these delicate touches at the end do take a little bit more time. You probably spend more time on these bits than blocking in everything at the beginning. Okay, and just lighten top part here. Okay, and in here. And we can meld the colour a little bit more, so it should give me a little bit of in-between colour. There, just in here, a couple of shots of it. And just here. So on the home straight now, going to pop some highlights on the tomatoes and that. Oh, we'll do the stalks as well actually, just before then. Just draw this light. It's a bit too strong, that one. Okay, and just grab that there. There. Again, I want to be very conservative. Again, I want to be a little bit careful not to paint over what I started off with. Okay, so we'll get some, I'll use the same brush for the lighter green. Just a bit more white. Okay. And there, this one here. Just create some nice shapes on this side. And there, it's really light. And then, just going to skim a little bit of that there, and just freckle it around there a little bit. Okay, so one clean brush left. Just going to drop the highlights in, and then I think we are pretty much done. So if I've got a little corner on my mixing tray for some white, some yellow. Don't want the highlight to be super strong, so just dulling it down a little bit. Maybe try it on this one first. Yeah, it's kind of just like a gentle skim really. And just around here, just straight down. And there is a bit more blue in this highlight. So just want to showcase that over here. Just play with that blue a little bit more. Just to really spark it out. Okay, and a little highlight here. Okay, just using a tissue this time. So the shadow, if the highlights look a little bit too stark, just mix some light red around it. Almost introduce it a little bit more rather than this abrupt highlight. Just a little bit more yellow. Okay, and just going to end with the yellow highlights. Again, just trying to find. Biggest lesson of this is maybe get a bigger mixing tray. Okay, so we'll just skim down. One over there. Okay, so just give that a little bit more. And on this side. And around here. We are pretty much there. So just using a bit more yellow to meld the highlight in. So to some extent you can spend the last few minutes just tweaking anything. Again, don't overdo it. You're really just trying to maintain the freshness that you start off with. But that is pretty much this one done. Okay, so I hope this exercise is useful. Why don't you give it a try, and it will really, really help you loosen up and appreciate marks a lot more. Thanks for watching. See you next time.